I think I ordered the wrong gloves off wish.com again. Sorry for the clickbait thumbnail. It's still PPE at the end of the day when you think about it. So, I'm Lance Mechanics here. I want to talk about the sorry state of mechanics health. You're going to see in the comments here, it is not good. This profession is not an old man's game. A lot of mechanics in my family, they didn't make it into their 70s. They died mid 60s or earlier. So, let's take the serious second here. If you're young in this industry, you have to take steps now to protect your health because your employers aren't going to. There's a lot of egos in the industry, and the young guys coming up, man, I get it. We tell you things, it just kind of goes in one ear, out the other. You really have to take the time now to protect your health. You only have one life, you only have one body. The human body is the only thing that degrades if you don't use it, and unfortunately, we're using it and it's degrading pretty fast. So let's get into that. Let's talk about the issues I've seen in the automotive industry, what I've done, how I've been hurt, and how other mechanics are suffering too. And if you're new to the channel, like and subscribe. And read the comments. Please read the comments. That's where a lot of the insight comes from for this. So yeah, let's get into it. First thing I'm going to talk about is a big one is our lungs. A lot of private garages, a lot of dealerships, they're not up to par on their air quality. To just give you a idea here, when I worked at the college, you fired up a vehicle, the first 30 seconds is when they pollute, and that's when the most toxins are spewed into the air. If we fired up a vehicle in those first 30 seconds and it didn't have an exhaust tube on it, giant doors opened up in the college shop, and that air was evac'd in under 30 seconds and replaced with outside air. Because that's what the standards were for the college, and I imagine that's what they should be for the rest of the provinces in Canada. So it didn't matter if it was plus 30 out or minus 45 out, it was whatever the temperature outside was going to be in the shop when those doors opened. And that was the standard for the college, and it was crazy, but that's what they said. Anything more than these parts per millions was causing lung damage and issues. In a garage, you're driving in and out, you have vehicles that sat overnight, you fired them up. The guy's not going to put an exhaust hose on it for firing it up to move out of the shop. Times that by 10 or 20 a day, and you're being exposed to serious amounts of hydrocarbons and other pollutants. And we don't think about that. If you're in the comments right now, does your shop have exhaust hosing? And having a long shop with a bunch of bays in line and having the doors open is not ventilation. Carbon monoxide, hydrocarbons, all that displaces oxygen. That's why it's so lethal. And you got to think about this long term. Are you going home and you're having trouble breathing? And this comes into another one, ergonomics. So one of my previous employers, he was a mechanic. He did it for 40 years. You're leaning over cars. You're leaning over engine bays. What happens is your lungs start to stick to your rib cage. And he ran into what happened to be one of the best lung specialists in the province, and they just happened to meet at the right time. And she noticed something with him. He was struggling for breath, but he wasn't. He was, but he wasn't. He didn't realize he wasn't. And she took one look at him and said, "Are you a mechanic?" And he's like, "Yeah, I am." She's like, "Your lungs are sticking to your front rib cage and you're only getting half your breaths." He's like, "What do you mean?" He's like, "You don't even realize it because you've gotten used to it." But she's like, "I see in the industry a lot is mechanics are hunched over a lot of the time over engine bays and your lungs start to stick to your rib cage." So it was a quick surgery. He was in and out in under a day. They just went in and cut a little piece somewhere under his rib cage and boom, he got his full lung capacity back. And he didn't know. He didn't even know this was happening. He was just getting used to it. And we don't realize as mechanics, we slowly get used to things and it's not good. So that's just lungs and breathing. You got to protect your lungs. I wear a mask because let's be honest, we're doing a lot of grinding. We're doing a lot of cutting. Ventilation's obviously, it's going to be poor if you're in a dealership or private garage. I always had a respirator. I don't know where it is now, but since I moved, I tossed it. But I'm going to get another one. Very important. If you go home at the end of the day and you're picking out your nose and it's black, your lungs are screwed. They're slowly being killed. It's just not worth it. So get a respirator, get that done because you can be good with yourself. And what about the guy in the next bay next to you? Is he grinding down brake surfaces? Is he cleaning up rotors? Is he pulling rotors off, trying to clean out? Like, you know what I mean, right? There's dust and rust particles flying around. It's just not worth it. So that's your lungs. Protect your lungs. Eye protection. I'm guilty for this. Don't get me wrong. I always wear eye protection. It's the quick jobs with welding, and I'm just going to take a second here to do something, or somebody's hitting a hammer and you don't realize that they're near you. You got rust and debris flying everywhere at high speeds. You don't think about these things. It just takes 1 second. Eye injuries has to be the #1 automotive, or it's up there for automotive injuries. It's definitely up there for a lot of work injuries across the province and the US. You got to protect those eyes, man. You don't only get so many. And it's crazy. Like us as mechanics, we're stubborn. A few seconds to weld here, you're not going to put on your full PPE, or if you are in the comments, good for you. Absolutely. But what about the guy working next to you? Are you putting up the big screens there like in welding shops have, so if someone walks by they don't get arc flash? Bet you your dealer or garage doesn't even have one of those, and they definitely should. It's just like the guys working on hybrids. Do they have the fiberglass poles to get you off if anything happens? I bet you they don't even know where they are. They're probably back in the back room there in parts collecting dust. You got to plan these things out, and people don't think about it. So eyes, lungs, what else is there? Your digits, your fingers, your hands. How many people don't wear their bloody gloves? This kills me. This absolutely kills me. You absorb so much through your hands. People don't realize this. Oils, hydraulic oils, engine oils, tranny oils, they're all cancerous. They will cause cancer. Like, protect your gloves. I was telling another apprentice the other day, I'm like, wear your gloves. He's like, well, you know, I'm used to it. It's hard to wear gloves. I'm like, you know, oil causes cancer. And he's like, what? It's just, no one told him that. I'm like, it's absorbed into your skin, man. That shit's all toxic. You got to protect your hands. You know how many guys, I'm starting to wonder sometimes, because I see guys have like, maybe it's just because the mechanics use their arms there, but I see them kind of a little twitchy, and it's the older ones who, they adopted gloves a little too late, but at least they're trying now. And you just see it. There's something not right. It's like it's causing nerve damage. And that's another thing. We're constantly striking on things. You know how hard that is on your body? Sledgehammers, hammers, anything, pry bars, pushing, pulling. The amount of strain our back, shoulders, and arms go through is unreal. That's why in the videos and the shorts there, I'm saying having composite impacts over heavy ones will save your arms. Ask anybody who's on a jackhammer or anything. Oh my goodness, it's just hard on you. Not worth it. You need to protect your body, and I get it. You're young now. You're not thinking about it. You're like, I'm invincible. Well, buddy, you are not invincible. Check the comments again, man. You're going to see older mechanics saying all their regrets for not taking care of themselves now. And it's not enforced in our industry. Nobody comes in and says, hey, wear your PPE. Hey, do this better ergonomics. You know what they're going to say? Get that car out faster because you're flat rate, or we got so many waiters. We need this other one in. They cut corners for safety, and they cut corners for your health. Just being in other industries between automotive, #1 priority, they said, or what they said, #1 thing is the job is not worth your life. It's worth going home to see your family at the end of the day. And automotive has never adopted that. They're like, if you can't get the job done safely, talk to us and we'll come out with a game plan. And I've seen some sketchy stuff in garages just to get a job done. Pullers and pushers with inner packs and hydraulic presses on friggin' wheel ends. Oh my goodness. And no barricades set up or any precautions if that thing goes flying. So you got like, you got projectile potential that you never think about, and it's real unfortunate. And here's another thing people don't think about. Maybe grocery store workers will understand this, or anybody who works on factory floors. Standing on concrete will destroy you. They even say no more than 8 hours a day. Well, unfortunately, you're technically at the dealership more than 8 hours a day. Grocery store workers, standing cashiers, they'll get it. That's why they have anti-fatigue pads. It is well known that concrete will fatigue you very, very hard, causes back injuries, causes shoulder injuries, it ruins your posture. You don't think about it. And wearing safety boots, yes, there's a little bit of cushion, but there really isn't. Those things are tough. You have no give. Concrete is a solid surface, so every time you step, you're impacting your whole body. And I can tell you the difference between working on a concrete floor and working on a hardwood floor. I can go a lot harder when I'm on a hardwood floor. I'm not saying in automotive, I'm just saying I'm able to work and work and work. Whereas by the 5 to 7th hour mark on concrete floors, I really feel it. And being underground, your rock is hard as concrete, if not harder. So you feel it after about the 7th hour. So they tell you take breaks. They're always telling us take breaks. It's 40 degrees in the drift. Work for 10 minutes. Take a 45-minute break. what do you know? They care about your health there. But in automotive, it's if you're fatigued, suck it up. You'll hear the other guy saying, well, I could have done that. It's a horrible, horrible, toxic thing in our industry, and it's got to change. So here's a few other things to talk about. How many of you clench your jaw when you're going to swing at something or you're pulling? You end up kind of biting down hard, grinding your teeth. I've noticed some apprentices doing it, and I tried to correct it very quick because you start biting down, you start giving yourself headaches, and a lot of guys don't think about that. It's one of those weird things I've just kind of noticed, and once I started pointing it out to the apprentices, they stopped doing it, and their mood changed kind of a little bit. Maybe because they weren't getting so many headaches and they weren't hurting themselves. Just something to think about. The gloves thing, that's a big thing. If you're not wearing gloves, don't chew your nails. I see a lot of nail biters. I don't know if it's a younger generation. The young guys, I noticed, 25 and under bite their nails, and the old guys, 45 up, and I noticed they bite their nails. Imagine all that grease and oils and stuff you're biting on your nails. Stomach cancer for a while was a big problem for automotive mechanics. For some reason, we ingest a lot of crap. You're looking up with your mouth open and you swallow a lot of stuff. It just kind of happens. Got to be a little more cleanliness, work on that. What are a few other things? Let's think about this. Another thing I thought about is we're always kneeling down on concrete, and I did this in the first video I did. I'm redoing this. I basically wore out one of my kneecaps. So I had a injury when I was younger, and I split my entire leg bone down the middle, so I got a bunch of titanium in it. What that's forced me to do is lean down on one knee constantly, and 10 years of doing that in the automotive trade is basically, instead of splitting the difference one knee and one knee, I got 20 years of wear on one knee. And there's a big hole where the bone should be. Concrete wears your knees down. You guys need knee pads, man. I absolutely love knee pads. They're a lifesaver. I work harder with it, but there's still a lot of toxicity against guys wearing PPE. Even I see it in underground, like just for the knee pads. They were making fun of a guy wearing knee pads. Well, listen, you're in the drift and you're kneeling down on sharp rocks. Knee pads are nice. And even in the shop environments, you need knee pads. You don't think about it. Dealership guys or even automotive guys, you're trying to change EVAC, let's say range switches or something under the console. You're in there like a pregnant bent pretzel or something for up to an hour at a time, and you're on one knee. That does some serious damage and wear, and you gotta protect your knees. You gotta protect them. So, just thinking of my anatomy here. What's another thing that goes on the human body? Our hearing. There's certain frequencies I can't hear anymore because I was stubborn and I didn't wear hearing protection. I got to tell my the wife unit there, I'm always saying, hey, can you speak up? Because I can't hear that well. It's only going to get worse now with age. You can hear some ringing sometime, but we do not protect our ears in the automotive industry. You're just going to be like, hey, I'll just air hammer for a few seconds. That few seconds over a week or two will do so much damage to you. It's just not worth it. And again, I told the young guys too, hey guys, you're going to ruin your ears. And they just kind of look at you and laugh like they're invincible. And there's just nothing you can tell a younger person sometimes. And you know what? I didn't give up, and I'm sure there's one or two there that it got through to. But unfortunately, it doesn't reach them. Even the guys into their 40s, it still doesn't get to them until it's too late. And I noticed in other videos, the people in there who are quitting the trade and talking, saying how they beat up their body and they wish they listened to older guys. Post in the comments, man. Tell these young guys here what needs to happen, because I can only say so much. Like, this industry kills you. You get all the trades issues, all the other industry, like you get tendonitis, you get hand problems, you get shoulder problems, you get back problems, you get knee problems. Where other industries, they only experience one of each. It's like a mechanic, you get them all because of what we do. And it's very unfortunate, and I think people need to be brought more to light to this, because there's nothing to protect mechanics. Your flat rate, you go to say, hey, I got injured, they're basically going to get rid of you. You got no protection. Let's be honest. Hurting mechanics, they got zero sympathy for. The whole industry has zero sympathy for. I hope things change, but the best we can do now is protect ourselves. Protect your lungs, your eyes, your hearing, your hands, like protect them. Do stretches. Yoga is such a beneficial thing. I know it sounds crazy, but it's helped me out because I am stiff. I'm very stiff. I'm only in my 30s, and man, automotive took a lot out of me. I miss climbing turbines because I was getting some good exercise from that, but yeah, is what it is. So if you're a mechanic or you're new to the channel and you somehow made it through this 15-minute video of me just, chatting away, like, subscribe, put in what you think needs to change in the industry, what's happening to you. And I'm hoping some young guys listen and really take it to heart. Because the dealership, the private garages, the business owners, they don't have your back at the end of the day. And there's no way you can pin it on one specific place because you're going to bounce around in the industry, and it's unfortunate. So try and nip it in the butt now and save your life, because I don't think a lot of mechanics make it past 60 and it's never talked about. So Lance Mechanics here. Have a great day and really think about this.